Humans survived a star that had already killed them. That was the first report. Everyone dismissed it. So did I. I was Senior Observer Keth of the Viral Dominion. I had studied emerging species for 43 orbital cycles. I specialized in identifying threats before they became problems. Humans were not a problem. At least, that was my conclusion. The data came from a mining colony on the edge of human territory. A solar eruption had struck the planet. The radiation levels exceeded survival limits. Every living thing should have died. The sensors confirmed it. The medical scans confirmed it. The death certificates confirmed it. 3 days later, the colony resumed normal operations. No explanation. No panic. No emergency evacuation. Humans simply continued working. I assumed the reports were fabricated. Humans had a reputation for exaggeration. That was pattern one. Whenever something impossible happened, humans claimed it was normal. The galaxy laughed at them, usually for good reason. I was sent to investigate. I expected incompetence. I found something worse. Inhumans. The colony looked ordinary. Machines moved. Ships landed. Workers laughed. Nobody seemed concerned that they had supposedly died. I interviewed their leaders. Their answers made no sense. One human shrugged. We got lucky. Lucky? Entire ecosystems had collapsed. The atmosphere had briefly become toxic. Several buildings had melted. Yet he called it luck. I recorded the statement. Humans often used irrational explanations. That fit pattern one. Then I reviewed security footage. My confidence disappeared. The recordings showed workers collapsing. Thousands of them. Heart activity stopped. Brain activity vanished. Bodies remained motionless for hours. Then they woke up, one by one. Some vomited. Some screamed. Some immediately returned to work, as if death were merely an inconvenience. I checked the footage repeatedly. The data was authentic. I could not explain it. Neither could the humans. That bothered me most. Most species fear what they do not understand. Humans seemed comfortable with it. I returned to Dominion space disturbed. Not frightened, just disturbed. At the time, months later, the border conflicts began. The HFY Collective attacked a human trade route. It was a simple raid. Nothing unusual. The HFY were efficient predators. Fast, organized, merciless. The humans should have surrendered. Instead, they retaliated. That was unexpected. The HFY destroyed 6 transport ships. Humans destroyed an entire fleet. The numbers made no sense. The humans possessed fewer vessels, less advanced technology, inferior weapons. Yet somehow they won. Analysts blamed strategy. I agreed. That fit pattern too. Humans compensated for weakness through unpredictability. That explanation satisfied everyone. For a while. Then the war expanded. The HFY launched full-scale invasions, planetary bombardments, mass casualties, economic collapse. Human losses became catastrophic. Finally, I thought reality would teach them. No species could absorb that level of punishment. No civilization could survive such damage. I was wrong. Again, human resistance increased. Every defeated settlement created new fighters. Every destroyed city produced more soldiers. Every loss seemed to strengthen them. I developed a theory. Human reproduction rates must be extraordinary. It was the only logical explanation. Then intelligence reports arrived. Their population was declining. Rapidly, the humans were losing millions. Yet their military strength continued growing. I could not understand it. Neither could the HFY. Fear began spreading through their command structure. At first, it was subtle. Small mistakes, delayed offensives, confused reports. Then entire fleets started hesitating before entering human space. Predators were becoming cautious. That should have been impossible. The HFY had conquered hundreds of worlds. They feared nothing. Now, they feared humans. Why? I requested access to classified battle recordings. Permission was granted. Why Saw still haunts me. A HFY strike force attacked a human station. The station was doomed. Life support failed. Defenses collapsed. Escape routes were destroyed. The humans were trapped. I expected surrender. Instead, they charged. Not some of them. All of them. Engineers. Doctors. Technicians. Civilians. Everyone. The footage became chaos. Explosions. Smoke. Blood. Bodies everywhere. The humans fought long after survival became impossible. Many continued fighting after sustaining injuries that should have incapacitated them. Several continued fighting after sustaining injuries that should have killed them. One human lost an arm. He used the severed limb as a weapon. I initially assumed insanity. That fit pattern 3. Humans responded to stress with irrational aggression. Simple, logical, comforting. Then I watched another recording. And another. And another. The same behavior appeared everywhere. Different planets. Different cultures. Different circumstances. The pattern repeated endlessly. Humans did not fight because victory was possible. They fought because defeat was unacceptable. That realization unsettled me. Most species calculate odds. Humans calculated consequences. The distinction was terrifying. The war entered its 6th year. Entire sectors burned. Trade routes vanished. Refugee populations exploded. Civilizations began choosing sides. The Dominion remained neutral. Officially, unofficially, everyone watched. Everyone wondered the same thing. How were humans still standing? The answer arrived unexpectedly. A HFY dreadnought crashed on a frozen moon. Both sides dispatched recovery teams. I accompanied the Dominion observers. The environment was lethal. Temperatures could freeze exposed tissue instantly. Violent storms swept across the surface. No intelligent life could survive there without protection. The wreckage was discovered. So were the survivors. 27 HFY. 3 humans. The HFY had supplies, weapons, shelter. The humans had nothing. Their equipment had been destroyed. Their transport was gone. Their survival should have been measured in minutes. Yet they were alive. More than alive. They were hunting, on a moon where life did not exist. I watched them through drones. The 3 humans moved through blizzards without hesitation. They laughed. They argued. One of them sang. The wind could strip flesh from bone. Predators larger than transports roamed the ice fields. Death surrounded them. And one human was singing. I concluded they had finally succumbed to psychological collapse. No other explanation existed. Then one of them killed a creature 3 times his size, with a sharpened piece of wreckage. The creature should have killed him instantly. Instead, the human dragged its corpse back through the storm. The other 2 cheered. I remember feeling something unfamiliar. Not confusion, not curiosity. Fear. Pure fear. Because for the first time, I considered a possibility. What if humans were not surviving despite the impossible? What if they expected the impossible? What if every nightmare the galaxy feared was simply another Tuesday to them? Then the distress signal arrived, and everything became worse. The distress signal came from beneath the ice. That should have been impossible. The moon had no underground facilities, no settlements, no recorded structures, nothing. Yet the signal repeated every 17 seconds. Ancient, weak, persistent. The HFY survivors detected it too. So did the humans. Both groups moved toward the source. Neither trusted the other. Neither intended to retreat. Our drones followed from orbit. What they discovered changed everything. Deep beneath the frozen surface lay a buried vessel. Not HFY, not human, not Dominion. Something older, much older. The hull was larger than cities. Its design matched no known civilization. The signal originated from inside. The HFY entered first. That was their mistake. Minutes later, screaming flooded every communication channel. Then silence. No survivors emerged. The humans entered next. I expected the same outcome. I prepared casualty reports. Instead, the humans kept transmitting. Their voices sounded nervous, but they continued forward. That confused me. Fear usually causes caution. Human fear seemed to create momentum. The deeper they traveled, the stranger the recordings became. Corridors shifted shape. Doors appeared where none existed. Machines activated after millions of years. Something inside the vessel was awake. Something intelligent. The humans realized it first. One whispered a single sentence. "We are not alone in here." The transmission ended. For 6 hours. Nothing. No signals. No movement. No contact. Even the drones lost tracking. Then the vessel moved. The entire moon shook. Ice mountains collapsed. Cracks spread across continents. And something emerged from the darkness below. At first I thought it was a machine. Then I thought it was a weapon. Finally I understood. It was both. The entity had no fixed shape. It unfolded like living mathematics. Its body ignored geometry. Looking directly at it caused pain. Sensors failed instantly. Several observers suffered neurological damage. The ancient being transmitted a message. Every species heard it. Every language translated it perfectly. The message contained only one question. Why are you still alive? Entire governments panicked. Religious systems collapsed overnight. Military fleets retreated. Nobody understood what the entity meant. Except the humans. One of them laughed. Actually laughed. I remember staring at the recording in disbelief. The creature could destroy planets. Civilizations trembled. A human laughed. Then he answered. Good question. The entity attacked. The moon vanished. Not exploded. Vanished. One moment it existed. The next it was gone. Our drones barely escaped. Every observer expected the humans to be dead. Again, the pattern repeated. Again, and again, and again. Hours later, emergency beacons appeared. 3 human life signs. Still active. I felt sick. Not because they survived. Because I was no longer surprised. The galaxy reacted differently. Fear spread everywhere. Old assumptions shattered. Humans could not be predicted. Could not be understood. Could not be contained. The HFY finally recognized the truth. Their leaders requested negotiations. Humans refused. The war continued. The HFY offered resources. Humans refused. The HFY surrendered territory. Humans refused. This confused everyone. Victory was already guaranteed. Why continue? I thought I finally understood humans. I was wrong. Again. The answer came from intercepted communications. A human commander addressed his forces. His speech contained no hatred, no threats, no celebration, only sadness. We finish this so nobody else experiences it. I dismissed the statement immediately. Humans always claimed noble motives. Pattern 1. Impossible events explained by simple words. Then I saw what happened next. Human fleets bypassed military targets. They ignored retreating forces. They focused on prison worlds, labor camps, slave facilities, occupation zones, places where civilians suffered. The objective had never been revenge. The objective had never been conquest. The objective was rescue. The realization horrified me, because I had finally identified the pattern, and the pattern was worse than anything I imagined. Humans retaliated hardest when someone else was hurting, not themselves, others. Every assumption collapsed. Every prediction failed. The galaxy had misunderstood them from the beginning. Their aggression was real. Their violence was real. Their fury was real. But it was aimed in a direction no species expected. Toward threats. Toward predators. Toward anything that endangered their people. And somehow, humans kept expanding the definition of their people. Former enemies. Refugees. Aliens. Strangers. Even species that once attacked them. The war ended during the siege of Vector Prime, the last HFY fortress. The final battle. Everyone expected annihilation. Instead, something unimaginable occurred. The ancient entity returned. Larger, angrier. It emerged between fleets. Stars dimmed around it. Reality distorted. Weapons became useless. Ships vanished by the thousands. The galaxy watched in terror. The entity transmitted the same question. Why are you still alive? This time humanity answered together. Millions of voices. One response. Because each other. The entity became silent. For the first time, uncertainty appeared in its behavior. Then something impossible happened. The humans shut down their weapons. Every ship, every fleet, every soldier. Defenseless. Even with extinction seconds away. I thought they had surrendered. That was my final mistake. Humans were protecting the HFY, protecting the enemy, the species that had burned their worlds, killed their families, destroyed their cities. Humans positioned themselves between the entity and everyone else. Not because they could win, Not because they expected survival, because someone had to stand there. The ancient being studied them. Minutes passed. Then it spoke. A statement this time. Not a question. I understand. And it disappeared. Just like that. The war ended. The galaxy survived. The HFY survived. Humanity survived. Nobody truly understood what happened. Not even the humans. Years later, I reviewed every recording, every battle, every report, every impossible event. I finally realized why my conclusions were always wrong. I kept searching for what humans could survive. Humans cared about what they were surviving for. That difference changed everything. I am old now, older than most of my species ever become. Human civilization spans regions once considered unreachable. They remain chaotic, confusing, dangerous. They still perform impossible acts. They still break predictions. They still frighten me. Sometimes I remember the ancient entity's question, the question that echoed across the stars, the question no species could answer, except humans. And after everything I have witnessed, I think I finally understand the truth. Humans survived a star that had already killed them. The shocking part was never that they came back. The shocking part was that the universe itself eventually stopped trying. Humans survived a star that had already killed them. Back then, I thought the universe was trying to destroy humanity. Now I know the truth. The universe wasn't testing humans. It was warning the rest of us. And we learned that lesson far too late.